afternoon, everyone. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Well, as we all know by now, the Canada-US tariff-free deal or tariff-reduced deal is dead in the water. And it doesn't account for everything. There's a lot of items that we do trade that are part of the USMCA, formerly NAFTA agreement. That doesn't get touched. That's, in spite of what people say, that is still solid unless there is a provision, and nobody has initiated it. There is a provision to cancel that agreement with 6 months notice, and nobody has done so. So it's not been extended beyond the next 10 years, but is still valid for 10 years. There was the opportunity to extend it for 16 years. That didn't happen. And usually what happens with that is that every few years they renegotiate things that they want to renegotiate, let's put it that way. So, USMCA is not touched. It's not in contention. Things like the oil from Alberta and potash from Saskatchewan are not part of this deal. And neither did Alberta or Saskatchewan take liquor off their shelves. That was a Doug Ford initiative, sadly. Doug Ford is very easily triggered, as we can see. It doesn't take much from Trump to trigger him and make him say and do stupid things. Now, yes, the removal of alcohol, U.S. alcohol from Ontario's shelves and Canada's shelves, specifically Ontario, I think, has really hurt that industry in the U.S. And I believe that was one of the items that they wanted to have reversed. Unfortunately, not only was the product removed off the shelves, but this whole process that started 18 months ago, they've encouraged Canadians to buy Canadian. And I personally ignore that. My personal opinion and what I avoid buying is Chinese when I'm in Canada or the US, and that's hard. So yeah, if there is something that I want and I can get it made by another country, I'll do that. I'll try to avoid buying Chinese as much as I possibly can, even though it appears as though Mr. Carney, our Canadian Prime Minister, is doing deals with China. Apparently he's doing a deal to have China import a whole bunch of Chinese cars to Canada. I, for one, will never buy a Chinese car. I don't know anybody who will. I mean, we have Japanese cars, we have other countries manufacture cars, but I will never buy a Chinese car. That's just me. Now, there's a lot of discussion back and forth and who killed the deal and why. We know that Canada walked away from it. The reasons that they gave are very, they're not very specific. And I agree with Pierre Poilievre, who's been asking the Prime Minister to recall Parliament, get everyone back to work, because they're off for another month. And, so nothing's going to happen until they recall Parliament, and he's been asking for that to happen so that there could be transparency on what exactly was in that deal and what exactly was the reason for not accepting it, considering that there was every indication that it would be accepted. Certainly Canada did not give any indication that they were walking away from it. The U.S. seemed to think that the deal was done. So what actually happened? and what actually triggered it. Now there's all kinds of speculation and all kinds of talk, and until we can get transparency, all of it is speculation. On the other hand, we know that Carney is a globalist. He is not, I don't think he has Canada's interests at heart. I think that he is a member of the globalist venture. And the problem with that is that even what he has done with this trade deal is going to be very detrimental to Canada if a deal has not been done. What they are proposing is reciprocal tariffs, and they will be supporting companies that are hurt. Now, I was listening to the radio today, and apparently they're only going to support companies who have more than 10 employees or more that will be affected by the tariffs. So they're going to help them out. There are thousands of companies who have less than 10 employees who will, these people have started small businesses. They might have 4 or 5 employees. They might have 3 employees. Most of them have had to, there's no bank loans for small business investors. It's their money that they've invested, and they stand not only to lose their companies, they stand to lose their total investment. So that's pretty pathetic. And it looks to me like we're heading right back into a COVID type situation where the government is going to go into serious debt in order to support this undeal. So they're doing more harm to Canada by destroying small businesses, making the average individual pay for these, because let's face it, it's not the government that pays for these things, it's another tax, and it's individuals who pay this tax. So I'm all for getting to the bottom of what was wrong, getting the adults back to the table, and getting it resolved immediately. Not wait for this globalist agenda to supersede, and I'm not a globalist. I do believe that there will be a world cooperation, but I don't think it's going to be what these people are trying to create. So, the elites are not the ones who are going to be in charge of a world government, although that is what they're trying to do. So, I'm just one out of a million people who say, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Are we going to have people in the streets like the truckers, everyone objecting to where this government has taken us? Trudeau took us once, had our backs against the wall once before, and now this government is doing the same thing. There are people who think that he was right to do it. On the other hand, I am one of those people who don't necessarily agree with that. And I don't agree with the Premier of Ontario. He is not the brightest individual, easily triggered, and Trump knows just how to get to him. He used the same means to get to Trudeau as he did to get to Doug Ford, and they're both very easily triggered, very emotional people who say stupid things and make stupid moves and do stupid things that they have to walk back. And you may have noticed that Doug Ford has had to walk back some of what he said. I think somebody called him up and just slapped him. But that's besides the point. He's an idiot who wants to be Prime Minister of Canada. And the other one wants to be the leader of the world. So here we have people who are making decisions who are not concerned about you and me and the little guy. So let's hope they all fall flat on their faces and things get turned around. And anyway, this is Tony from her Homestead Skills. Oh yeah. My purple beans are trellising just nicely. They've actually reached up top, and I'm starting to get little beans growing. And what I understand is that they don't need to have critters to pollinate, so that should be awesome. Apparently beans will pollinate even before the flowers open, so a little chance of cross-pollination for one, and secondly, I should have beans this year. I'm actually seeing some little tiny beans starting to grow. So this is my initial setup for this year. Next year, it should be in full swing. Today, this year is just trying to decide how I can set up this balcony. I would like to have plants all along this side. And I've also put another hoop on this side with the fence against the other wall. And more plants, and finally my tomato plants have started to flower, and I'm getting little tomatoes here. Once again, not much of a harvest this year, but the whole idea here is to set up this balcony garden, and hopefully next year I'll have cucumbers on one trellis, beans on another, and tomatoes and all kinds of other things. And yes, I have hung some things here to dry on this back fence, but hopefully that will have things growing on it next year. So it's coming along. It's like I said, this year is just put the bones in, figure out how I'm gonna try to have a garden here, and it should be really easy upkeep.